What's going on, everybody? John and Will, Law of Polaris. Thank you all for tuning in. Before we start, make sure you smash that like button, hit that bell so you can be notified whenever a new video comes out. Believe me, I am excited for the 2021 season. There will be much more to come. Now, I want to give you all my 4 sleeper teams for this year. We all know the big names, the Bucks, the Chiefs, the Packers, what have you. The teams that we know are going to be good in 2021. But here are 4 teams that didn't make the playoffs last year, who haven't really been given much press this offseason, at least from what I've saw, that I think quietly could make a deep run in the playoffs this year. For starters, the LA Chargers. Now this is 100% because of Justin Herbert. This kid broke almost every major rookie record for an NFL quarterback last year. There's no speculation of if he's going to be a Hall of Famer. His jersey is literally hanging in the Hall of Fame right now. Most touchdown passes for a rookie, most passing attempts for a rookie, the only rookie quarterback ever to throw at least 2 touchdowns in 7 consecutive games. We hear the word generational talent being thrown around a lot, but there's no denying it here. I mean, we saw what Andrew Luck was able to do for Indianapolis. I think we have something similar here with Herbert in LA. Maybe even better. And they're in a division that is wide open outside of the Kansas City Chiefs. And I'm going to go out on a limb here and say, hey, in about 2 or 3 years, the Chiefs are going to have to be looking over their shoulders when it comes to the Chargers. They drastically upgraded the offensive line this season, bringing over first-team All-Pro center Corey Linsley from Green Bay, Matt Fielder from Pittsburgh, and then drafting Northwestern guard Rashawn Slater, who was a steal at 13th overall. They brought over Rams defensive coordinator as head coach, Brandon Staley. The Rams defense that was number 1 in total yards, number 1 in points allowed, and tied for 6th in takeaways last year. If you can get healthy seasons out of Derwin James, who missed all of last year, and Chris Harris, who missed half of last year, then the sky's the limit on the other side of the ball as well. My second sleeper team, I'm going to go ahead and say the New York Giants. Look, all of us football analysts like to play the on-paper game in the offseason because despite catching some highlights of a practice here and there or watching a third-round QB throw a bomb on a fourth-string defense during the preseason, that's really all we got until the season starts. And on paper, the Cowboys are primed to win the NFC East. But with that said, how many times have we come into a season with what appeared to be a top 5 NFL team in the Dallas Cowboys, only for them to turn around and somehow be 8-8 or 9-7. I think the Giants can absolutely shock everyone and not only win this division, but could possibly have it clinched and won by the time we get to December if the Cowboys fall off. If Daniel Jones can have a breakout season in year 3, with all of the receiving weapons he now has, if Saquon Barkley can play a full season and be as dominant as he was in his first 2 seasons, I don't see why they can't be well on their way to hosting a playoff game in January. Now, no one's really paying that much attention to the Giants' defense with everything going on the offense, but the Giants could quietly be building one of the better secondaries in this conference at least, with James Bradbury, who's a beast, Ryan Logan and Jabril Peppers, who've shown flashes of greatness. There's a lot of promise here. Moving on, the New England Patriots. Now this is Bill Belichick we're talking about here, and I'm willing to bet that the 2020 season was an anomaly. The Patriots went above and beyond this offseason to bring in enough weapons to prepare for a bounce back from their first losing season in 2 decades. Belichick is the most competitive figure in any major American sport, and he just had to watch the guy he built a dynasty with, someone he recently had a falling out with, win a Super Bowl. And that had to be an in-your-face moment for the entire Patriots organization. At any cost, even if it comes down to cheating, the guy is going to win. And let's not forget, down the stretch in the 2020 season, regardless of how bad Cam Newton looked at some point, regardless of their lack of talent at the skills position, the Patriots were in the thick of the playoff race until towards the very end when they tapered off. The Patriots have the 3rd best offensive line according to PFF, probably one of the best linebacker and secondary combos on a defense in the NFL, new speedy weapons at receiver, and believe me, I think Belichick is smart enough to figure out how to use both Cam Newton and Mac Jones to the best of their abilities. I wouldn't be shocked to see games where they both take snaps under center. Bills are going to win the AFC East in my opinion, but I think the Patriots are set to do a complete 180 from the 2020 season and at least get a wild card berth. And lastly, a sleeper team, in my opinion, that really shouldn't be a sleeper team, I'm going to say the Arizona Cardinals. Here's my choice for a team who can sneak into the playoffs and make some noise as a 6th or 7th seed. And not one of those 6 or 7 seeds that gets in because the rules say someone has to be in those positions, but a 6th or 7th seed that the 3rd or 2nd seed definitely does not want to see. The NFC West is hands down going to be the toughest division in the league this year, and we are at a point in the NFL where it can now take place that an entire division makes the playoffs. And call me crazy, but I think it could happen here. I mean, let's break it down. Do we really see 2 teams coming out of the NFC East? I don't. The NFC South? The Buccaneers, of course. But I don't know about the Saints with who they have at quarterback, especially if they can't make things work out with Michael Thomas. And you can go to the NFC North. Obviously, you got the Packers. We should see the Vikings make the playoff, but I feel like we say that a lot, especially in the Kirk Cousins era, who's had a losing record in December in all 3 years he's been with the team, even a year they made the playoffs. So, I don't know. I love the addition of AJ Green. Look, his last 2 seasons weren't great. He missed half of 2019, and in 2020 he had a rookie quarterback thrown to him. But prior to that, he had 7 straight Pro Bowl seasons, and you're putting him opposite DeAndre Hopkins. You got Kyler Murray, who improved in almost every metric in year 2, making his first Pro Bowl, and I think he can only get better. And on defense, you now have a dominant force like J.J. Watt, who, yeah, he's not as scary as he was in some of his better days in Houston, but you put him alongside Chandler Jones and Marcus Golden. Those 3 guys I just mentioned are at the top of the league when it comes to QB hits and pressures. And I wouldn't sleep on that secondary either with Budda Baker. Again, this could be a team that down the stretch of the season is right in the thick of the playoff race, probably right along with the other 3 NFC West teams. But that's my take. Those are 4 teams that I think could definitely be sleepers this year that can make a run in the playoffs. But what do you think? That's just 4. 18 teams didn't make the playoffs last year. Who are your sleeper teams? I'd love to know. Leave them in the comment. Make sure you share this video if you like it. Subscribe if this is your first time here. See you on the other side.